Hey everybody, welcome back to the Ned Hills of Southern Indiana. So the frame has been sitting in here, it's plenty dry. It's been about a week since I power washed it. But today what I want to start looking at is pulling that hitch system off of there. Since we're going to do an off-road rig, I think I'd like to get the clearance. And we have 3 areas of corrosion on the frame. Got a pretty good gap there right next to the spring perch. So I'd like to address that. Got another area over here right off of our cross member. So I'd like to take a look at that, fixing that. And then you can see the hole in the frame right there. And there's a couple more. This one, a couple more up here. So this whole section is kind of weak right there. So what we're going to try to accomplish for this video is getting this cross member off. I notice this has got a little gap in here. I don't know if that's concrete floor in here or what, but I'm going to take that cross member off. Need to do it anyway. Go get this thing set down on a flat piece of concrete. Make sure the frame's not tweaked too bad. All right, with this cross member, it's basically got 3 bolts in it to hold it on this channel. See, one of them's out. It's this thing. It's got the weird rectangle head on it, the 9/16 nut on the other end. All corroded up. Of course, I had these all sprayed down before I power washed it with that PB blaster, so they're actually not doing too bad. So I got this one loosened up. I'll leave it in. Gonna loosen this one up. Rolling right off of there, surprisingly well. And we'll do the same over on that side, drop this thing out of there. Okay, so we made pretty quick work out of that cross member. Luckily those bolts came out pretty easily. Dropped it out, brought it outside, and I really need to get this hitch assembly off in order to get the frame to lay flat, to see if we're anywhere close to straight, not twisted. So start by pulling the grinder out, bust all those bolts off. Have to cut through some welds, a few more bolts. Drop that thing out of there. I don't think I'm going to use it anyway. I'm thinking about putting a, I think it's a CJ2A gas tank they're claiming will fit in between these frame rails. So I need to open this area up anyway. I'm not going to pull this out, but I am going to pull all this stuff out just to get us started. So far we got these bolt heads cut off because there was no way I was going to get those apart. They're too corroded on the back side. And I went ahead and pulled this piece out of the top of here. Get it out here. This was on top of here like this. And I wanted to make sure that if for whatever reason I wanted to put some of this back in, I could reuse this piece. So just kind of cut it out of there. This could all get welded back in there if like a gusset, if it had to be. So I'll do the same thing over here with this one. Knock these welds off of here, this bolt head off. And then there's 2 rivets in there. Gonna have to somehow get in there with the grinder too, because this is boxed in. I can't get to the back side of it. Maybe grind an X in those and get the heads knocked off of them. I think I'm gonna end up getting into this angle here when I do that. But we'll go ahead and get after it and see what comes of it. It's going along pretty good so far, so knock on wood. Well, it got too dark out there after cutting that stuff off, so I decided to level this thing up inside the shop here. Did the old 3-point thing, so 2 jack stands here, one on the back there, so I got level this way. Bring this over here. I've got level this way. So I wanted to see as if this frame was twisted or not. So let's walk around here. Pull this bad boy up here. Try and do this all with one hand here, huh? I know this is not particularly scientific or anything like that, but you can see where we're off a little bit there. So let's see how much we got to go here to get level. Actually need to go up the other direction. So let's go over here. Not very much. Not very much at all. Maybe 1/8 of an inch to get level over there. So let's bring it back here. Trying to find a flat spot on this whole frame is, got to take that into consideration as well. So this one, you can see we're way off there. Let's see what kind of gap we get here when I get level. Looks like right about there. So what? Solid 3/8, maybe a 1/2 inch gap. But I've seen a lot of folks online talk about you know, how these frames, quality control back then wasn't all what we're used to nowadays. So if anybody's got any thoughts on that, throw them down in the comments. That would be really cool. As far as I'm concerned, it's going to be an off-road rig anyway, so I'm not too terribly worried about that. I'm sure that somehow if I studied into it, we could make that up somehow, but not really sure we need to. It's not like we're hitting the interstate doing 80 with this thing or anything. But anyway, that's what we found. Okay, well, we didn't get quite as much done today as I would have liked, but we at least got this thing off. Got the frame back in here. What up, Cinder? So I can at least put it on jack stands so I can get it up and down off of there. If I need to flip it over, do some more work on it, I can, rather than up on the sawhorses. I'm pretty certain I'm gonna end up taking that whole bumper off, as well as this bracket right here. We'll just have to see how it goes, but I see no need to keep that in there, and I probably want to do something a little more stout as far as a back bumper. I really don't like doing all that cutting and grinding inside the shop, all the metal flying around, sparks, and all the dust from those carbon blades getting all up in here. So what I might do is grab the rear differential and start taking it apart. Make sure I've got some good bits there. And front differential. We still got the transmission transfer case over there. I really want to go through all that stuff first before I commit to you know, buying an engine. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with the 4.3 liter GM. But if any of this other stuff or the differentials are bad, who knows, I might change direction, do something else. But need to figure that stuff all out before I go buy something else. I've already got that Jeep out there. Just as a point of note, the plan that I was going to go after using it, because this frame is in such good condition, I didn't want to cut up the frame or whatever to that extent, stretch it, all the good stuff to make that drivetrain work in here. It would have been quite the undertaking, admittedly. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that old Jeep. I might try to resell it or part it out. I've got an LJ, so there's a couple things on there I could keep, I guess, if I parted it out. But that's neither here nor there. I didn't get much done this week. You know, life happens, get a little busy some weeks, and then the next week you got all kinds of time. So this last week I didn't have a whole lot of time to get out here. Weather wasn't real nice. Like I said, I didn't want to really be grinding around on this inside the shop. So took the opportunity tonight. If you guys want to stay up on what I'm doing, this will be a pretty short video, or is a short video. We'll try to get back out here next week and do some more. Have a good one.